We've had season 1, we've had season 2. We're right in the middle of season 3 and the New World expansion for 2023. But today, let's look at the content that we have ahead of us in New World. We're going to look at what's yet to come in season 4 of the 2023 roadmap, and we're going to look beyond into 2024. When can we expect more information? What might the roadmap look like? And of course, all the way through to the inevitable expansion. One more thing. Spoiler warning, this is going to contain some spoilers for the main story quest from New World, Rise of the Angry Earth. Let's begin. Okay, so the 2023 roadmap. It's called the 2023 roadmap, but it will actually take us through to 2024. It's still ongoing. We're in season 3 currently. Season 3 is due to finish in 50 days, which will take us right into December, right into the run up to the holiday season, which should bring with it season 4. Now, we've still got all of season 4 content to look forward to. Of course, this comes free of charge, although I imagine some of it at least will be linked to expansion access. So don't be surprised if you can't do a particular activity because you don't own Rise of the Angry Earth. Starting at the top, we have seasonal story. Now, the way I see it, this could go one of 3 ways. Either it could be a standalone self-contained story, basically what we had in the previous 2 seasons. It could be a continuation or a hangover, a tying up of loose ends of the story from Rise of the Angry Earth. We kind of already get that to some extent with the expansion. The Isle of Zervan, if you've done the area quests on there, the Savage Divide, both of these stories have a bit of a tying up of loose ends kind of feeling to them following the MSQ. Or the third option, the one I really hope they go for, but seems a little too good to be true to me, is the start of something bigger. So maybe the seasonal story could lead us into something bigger, i.e. a year-long story that goes from season to season, slowly progressing until it takes us all the way up to the next expansion. Now, there is precedent for this in other games. It's been done before. The example that springs to mind from a personal perspective would be Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2, which clearly is already a huge influence on New World, did this with Living World Season 1. Now, Living World was very much, I don't know if it's even still going, but it was very much like our seasonal model. Each story was seemingly self-contained. It ran over a period of time, and the stories came out in an episodic format. Season 1, the villain, Scarlet Briar, was seemingly attacking for almost no reason. She wasn't a particularly popular villain at the time, but as the season progressed, it quickly transpired that she was just an emissary. She was an emissary for the next dragon. She was an emissary for the dragon that would be the big bad in Guild Wars 2's first paid expansion, Heart of Thorns. Now, the player base went absolutely batshit when they realised this. If I can find footage, hopefully it's playing now. It was such a great lead-in to the expansion that I think people's opinions of the villain and the living story in and of itself changed and became wholly positive. It would be really nice to see Amazon do something similar with the seasonal content going forward for us. Spoilers for the end of Rise of the Angry Earth. So at the end of the main story quest, we give the power to Morgaine for safekeeping. Just hand it over. We just give it to her, no questions asked. And away she walks with it. So potentially, could that be a heel turn? Maybe. If not, could we start to see another looming shadow start to appear? Who knows? Time will tell. Next up, we have the seasonal trial with Mutators. Now, I say this is good. It's going to be endgame content. We've already had a trial. We had the hatchery with Season 2, Blood of the Sands. My only concern is that these trials are listed as seasonal trials. Now, the hatchery is a bit confusing because it's a seasonal trial. The common understanding was that it was going to disappear with Season 2. However, as of today, as of filming, the hatchery is still in game. And it is still listed as seasonal content. Now, with Season 3, we didn't get a main story quest. Now, that's because, of course, we had an MSQ with the expansion. Could it be that they've extended the hatchery to carry on through Season 3 just to give us some additional content? Or could it be that they've changed their mind and it's actually sticking around? I really don't know. If anybody knows what's happening with the hatchery, which could potentially give us a hint as to what's going to happen with the next trial, leave a comment below. It'd be really good to know if it's staying or if it's going. Third on the list for season 4 is the seasonal trinket. Not really sure what to make of this. So currently we have seasonal trophies as part of the challenges section of the seasonal pass. They give you, once you obtain them, they give you bonuses and perks which last the extent of the season. Now, to me, that seems like a seasonal trinket, and I'm hoping that that's not what they've got in mind when they put this in the roadmap and when they give it such a prominent place. I'm hoping maybe it will be a new item with a new mechanic, something that gives us perks or has some kind of function for the duration of season 4. But I guess, again, time will tell. Next on the list, main story quest update. Now, this is an update to the base game main story quest. The development team promised to have the entire MSQ improved, revised by the end of 2023, and this should be the final installment of that. So expect the final zone to be completely revamped, hopefully taking us into Brimstone and giving all new players a much smoother questing experience. Fingers crossed for no bugs. New Expedition and a new Heartrune. Now, I've paired these up because historically and as of today, every Heartrune has been obtained through an expedition. What to expect from this expedition, who knows? The last 2 new ones that we've had, the Empyrean Forge and the Savage Divide, have both been thematically tied to the content that dropped at the time, so I would expect that to continue. What that content will be, where that expedition will be, again, really rests on what they decide to do with the seasonal story. Are we going to get another self-contained story that doesn't really go anywhere for season 4? Or are we going to start to get something that builds towards something a little bit greater? We'll find out. Seasonal and world events is also on there. Now, I imagine here we're talking about the Thanksgiving event and the Christmas event. Currently, we're going through Nightvale Hallow, which is the Halloween event, and we have had some new mechanics introduced for this year. We've had the costumes and we've had the trick-or-treating. So don't be surprised if we do end up with some sort of new mechanic for both the Thanksgiving and the Christmas events. It'll be something nice to look forward to, and if nothing else, it's a nice way to mark the holidays. Cross-world arenas and expeditions. I don't really have a lot to say about this one, other than yes please and what took so long. With Cross-world OPR, which we've had for a while, queues are minimal. You queue for a couple of minutes, it's been great. If this could be brought to PvE content, then that would be fantastic. My only question is, what's this going to do to the lobby system? Obviously, currently, if you want to run an expedition, you set up a lobby and you wait. Is it going to feed into that? Or potentially, are we going to see the new Dungeon Finder unveiled a lot sooner than we thought? We know they've been working on it. They've said as much themselves. We weren't expecting it anytime soon, but... And finally, seasonal territory control. Now, for this, I honestly have no idea. I'm not an open world PvPer. If you've seen the videos, I'm barely an OPR PvPer, definitely still learning. I do hope, for the sake of open world PvP players, that this isn't a wipe the slate clean. It is, from what I gather, a lot of hard work to get these things going, and the whole territory control, I can just imagine the Discord server burning down around our heads if they were going to take that approach. Maybe it could be that there are some mechanics introduced to it for the season. Something, again, that thematically ties into the season story. Maybe it could be some kind of temporary control post or outpost or objective that only lasts for the duration of season 4. I seem to be saying this a lot in this video, but once again, time will tell. So that's the 2023 roadmap. Now it's time to look beyond. Time to look at 2024. It should go without saying, and yet here we are, that we can expect a new roadmap for 2024. I'd also bet heavily on the new expansion being on the cards too, probably around Q3 or Q4 of the year. So what might these look like? Well, let's begin with the new roadmap. Some have speculated that we probably won't see anything of the roadmap up until early 2024. Now, I disagree. Sure, it's understandable why most people might make this prediction. We've already said that Season 4 of the current roadmap is going to take us beyond Christmas and into the new year. If we're waiting for content to dry up before the next round of hype building, then this would make sense. But I'm hoping that Amazon's best and brightest within the marketing and PR departments have learned from the past and have made other plans. You see, despite the bugs and numerous patches since its release, Rise of the Angry Earth has been an overall success, and it's been getting a lot of positive press. People are once again talking about and checking out the game for the first time since the release of Brimstone Sands in 2022, and this has been great for both Amazon Games as a developer and for New World as the IP. So rather than allowing the hype to die down again, leaving New World merely as the little MMO that could, I hope and I believe that this might be the beginning of a PR and marketing comeback tour, and that they're going to want to maintain and build upon the momentum. One big step in doing this will be timing the announcement and unveiling of the 2024 roadmap just right. And I think December and the run up to the holiday season is the perfect slot for that. In fact, the team did exactly this last year with the 2023 roadmap, an early draft of which was unveiled in an official video in December 2022. Nice Christmas jumpers, by the way. So what can we expect on this roadmap? Well, the details are harder to predict, but it's a safe bet that we'll have 3 seasons of story quests, a few expeditions, probably another raid, and maybe, just maybe, some PvP love in the form of new maps for OPR and Arena. In fact, my money is on new maps for OPR. It's worth noting that if Amazon Games takes the same approach as last year, we may end up with an early draft of the roadmap, missing some of these key features, just like last time, but I don't see any outcome where these things don't actually make it onto the final list. Another prediction I want to hang my hat on is expansion number 2. Now, some have predicted a 2-year cycle for expansions, but I'm going to stick my neck out here and say that we're going to see the second expansion for New World in Q3 or Q4 of 2024. I think the content cadence going forward for the next few years at least is going to be 3 or 4 season stories per year, along with a paid expansion. Bear in mind, Amazon Games needs to show revenue, and there'll be a lot of internal pressure on the studio at the moment to become profitable, especially ahead of the Lord of the Rings MMO release. Annual box prices for an expansion is a good chunk of income for the balance sheet. Going one step further, I think this expansion is going to be bigger than the last one, and might finally see the unveiling of a mystery slice of land first uncovered in September 2021. First discovered on an interactive browser map shared by the official New World Twitter account, this peninsula was billed at the time as coming soon and then abruptly never heard of again. Now, it could be an early version of Brimstone Sands, it could be an early version of Elysian Wilds before those areas were moved, reworked, whatever the case may be. But the fact is, they were working on this landmass, it exists, and I don't think it's been thrown out into the trash. I'm going to baselessly predict that it's been a slow work in progress ever since then and might make it into the new expansion as a new zone. Either way, it's fun to speculate. And we know that there are already areas to the north of our current map waiting to be explored. I think we've all been over the boundaries and died there. So this seems like a reasonable conclusion. Sadly, the map is no longer available to view online. I even checked the Wayback Machine. There are results on there, but they're all coming up with a black screen. So there's not a lot else we can learn about this landmass for now. This region also shows that Amazon Games and their contract partners at Virtuoso Games have been working on game elements that we've yet to see or learn anything about for a considerable length of time. So with that in mind, what other goodies are in the works that have still to be made public? Other land masses? Other mechanics? All of these things could find their way into next year's expansion. So to summarise, new roadmap, albeit maybe an early draft, in December of 2024. Taking the momentum into the new year when we start to see marketing for Season 5. I'd also like to see much more information about the next expansion ahead of time. I kind of understand why all of the marketing around Rise of the Angry Earth seemed a bit last minute, it kind of seemed like an afterthought to some extent, and I get it. Like, Rise of the Angry Earth was a very good mini expansion. It was priced as a mini expansion as well. I was happy with that. They dipped the toe in the water and they wanted to keep their head down to manage expectations. And I think it's been a resounding success. However, if Amazon and New World want to play with the big boys, then it's time to start cranking up the hype machine and show people why they should stay engaged with the game. And I, for one, cannot wait to see what they come up with. Well, I was about to say that that's it. That's the video, but there is one more thing, and I very nearly forgot it. This was picked up originally by Jay Oddity. He's a New World streamer and YouTuber. He's been doing this a lot longer than me. Possible console support. Now, in a recent episode of Forged in Eternum, there is a strategically placed Xbox controller in the background of the set. That hasn't been placed there by accident. It's very definitely a hint at something that we can see, or at least hear news of, within the next 12 months. I would say definitely controller support, thank God. Possibly even console. So stay tuned for that. And that's it. That's the video. The longest I've done on YouTube, in fact. I filmed this over several days. I did several cuts. It's been fun and a learning curve. What are your thoughts? What do you think we've got to come in the next 12 months? Are you excited for the future of New World? Did you find the video at all helpful or informative? If yes, to any of those questions, leave a like, please subscribe, help me with the algorithm, and leave a comment. It'd be really great to get your thoughts. Thank you very much, and until next time, take care.